Do flight crew, FTC, flight team stand up, it's June. Hey, look, so what is the hardest problem ever in NBA history? I don't know. So we're going to solve that because it says, can you solve the hardest problem in NBA history by Jimmy Harrow? It's been a minute since I checked out his channel. Before we continue, man, make sure you go copy some so fresh, so clean merch. FlightReacts.us. That's FlightReacts.us. If it ain't .us, it's Fugazi. Let's check it out.
If you had the job of choosing the #1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft, who would you pick? And just as important, do you think you could make the correct choice? Anthony Edwards, Obi Toppin, LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman. Are you choosing a player that fills a role on your team, or are you choosing strictly based on the best player in the draft regardless of position? In some years, the decision is pretty clear-cut. But in other years, you could be one pick away from making a terrible decision that ripples through your franchise for years to come. Basketball is a team sport.
Oh yeah, that Bennett dude.
To win a championship.
That
But
sucks.
picking the best player in any given draft class can propel a team in the right direction for the next decade. So, who do you choose?
Oh, LaMelo going to the
decision
NBA this
is
year,
not
right?
Nearly as easy as you.
And
would
that
think.
Cole Anthony dude. I think LaMelo might go to the Warriors.
Every once in a while, a franchise will use their #1 overall pick on a player that makes you scratch your head. Out of all the non-NBA prospects in the world, you chose him? I mean, there's got to be a reason why dozens of scouts,
Oh,
coaches,
shit.
GMs, and
Some
millions
people
of
get
dollars
exposed
worth of
in this one,
resources
yeah.
concluded that these players were worthy.
Damn, bro. Let's look at this shit, bro. #1 pick in the fucking draft, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh yeah, I remember that Michael Olova, the Condi dude. Didn't he have like a health condition though? I don't remember. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But damn, that.
Of a #1 overall pick. And like myself, you're probably thinking, hey, I guarantee I can make a better pick than this franchise. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. It's easy to sit back and say choosing Darko Milicic over Melo, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh was a terrible decision 17 years after the fact. But making the correct choice
No, it wasn't,
in the
bro.
moment
Bro,
is-
come on now, man. Let's be real, bro. Like, you had LeBron, Melo, Wade. You're able to pick, or whatever, or whoever got picked before him. But you still had either one of those two other options still, and you picked Darko Milicic, bro. Like, I don't care if my team is stacked with shooting guards and small forwards. I'm picking either one of them, like, over any other, like. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't take that. It's easy to be like an NBA scout and all of that stuff, bro. Like, they just don't have knowledge and IQ. It's just plain and simple.
Is a near monumental task. Out of the last 40 NBA drafts dating back to 1980, only 12 drafts featured a #1 overall pick that was actually the best player in the draft. That means even the most savvy NBA minds in the world pick the best player in the draft only 30% of the time.
Wait, what's going on? Why is Iverson in here? Why is Iverson in here like he was a bust or something, bro? Why didn't you circle Iverson, bro? Hold on, bro. No. What's going on? Let me make sure what is this list he's talking about
Out of
first.
the last 40 NBA drafts dating back to 1980, only 12 drafts featured a #1 overall pick that was actually the best player in the draft. That means even the most savvy NBA minds in the world picked the best player in the draft.
Why wasn't Iverson and why wasn't Rose circled? Rose is missing. Blake Griffin's not a bust. He could have played a little bit better. I just feel like it's just a team he's on. He's not a bust. He's definitely not a bust. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's another Sean Kemp, bro. Kyrie Irving's a bust. John Wall's a bust. No, he's not. No, they're not. What does this list mean right here? The other people are like, you know, on the edge of that. I don't know. I mean, is that Kareem Abdul? No, maybe that's James Worthy on the bottom. But I don't think James Worthy's a bust. What does this circling thing mean?
Only 30% of the time. That's atrocious. Typically, GMs do a decent job as they work their way down the draft board. But there's just
Bro, what does that
something
list
about
mean,
first
bro?
pick.
Because that's some
In the
disrespect in that.
7-year stretch between 2005 and 2011, every single #1 overall pick was not the best player in their draft class.
Okay, bro. Who the fuck was better than Rose then? Who was better than Rose in the draft class? Who was better than Rose in the draft class? Was Curry in the same year as Rose? Because if Curry was in the same year as Rose, no, because Greg Oden was in the NBA. I'm trying to remember. Let me look this on my phone real quick. Let me see when Curry got drafted real quick, because maybe that's why they crossed out Rose. That's the only reason. Steph Curry NBA draft in the 2009. That's where Blake Griffin is at. So why is Rose crossed out? He is the best in the draft. He just got injured.
And even with more advanced
John Wall
statistics at our disposal, more film available to break down, and better scouting techniques, making the right pick today is just as unlikely as it was 40 years ago.
Bro, this is sketchy,
Watching
man.
an NBA prospect up close
Confused.
and in person is a crucial part of the process, but for the sake of this experiment, I am going to give you 3 players and their college stats. Now, all 3 of these players were in the same draft, all of them one and dones. The Sixers had the first pick in this draft, and they already have a great guard running the point. With the limited information provided, if you had to pick, who are you choosing with the #1 overall pick?
Okay, so we're NBA scout reacts right now. First overall pick, who do you choose with these options right here? You have a guard that's 6'4", 23 points per game. You know what I'm saying? 5 boards, 5 assists. Another guard, he's 19 years old, 141 days, so it's not that much of a difference in the other guard. He averages 19 points instead of 23, less assists, less rebounds. I'm not taking him. He's automatically crossed out right now. Then you have a forward, 19 years old, 16 points per game, 7 rebounds. So I'm going with the first one right here. There's no question. I'm going with this guard right here. It's fucking common sense. This is what NBA scouts, you know what I'm saying, sleep on, and this is what they do. Some of them will try to be like, okay, I'm going to choose the forward because he can develop, because he has the most boards out of everybody here, so his athleticism, we're going to rely on his athleticism. But not knowing that every small forward is not going to, you know what I'm saying, transfer from being athletic to being a shooter is very rare for people to do that. One thing I'll give LeBron credit for is that LeBron did a good job adjusting and transferring himself into more of a shooter type of a player and into the post more. Because when he came into the league the first 3 to 5 years, he was attacking the rim relentlessly and relying on his athleticism, which he should, because he was like the top athlete of the decade has ever seen since Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody is going to be able to develop a jump shot like LeBron. You know, so that's why probably an NBA scout would probably go with that forward. If he was a guest, he was going to go with the forward right here. So I would go with the guard. What would y'all say?
Give you a moment to think about it.
I mean, I already thought about it. I'm still going with the decision. I'm going with the guard. 23 points per game. He's 6'4", too. Ain't nobody that's short in the NBA considered technically,
have you made
too.
a decision? Hopefully, you've made the correct one. Because out of these 3 prospects, one of them has had by far the best NBA career so far. Now, it's still very early in their careers, but Jay...
Ooh, see, now this shifts it a little bit. Honestly, I'm not even trying to be like, you know, an asshole. Bro, who the hell is this dude right here in the Orlando Magic uniform, bro? And who is this dude from Charlotte? Like, I don't know any of these dudes, bro. This dude right here in Orlando, he's averaging 23 points per game. Okay. But now looking at the people now, and now looking back on it, I'm honestly going to change my mind. I'd take Tatum. Because if I would have known that it was Tatum behind that silhouette, I'm taking Tatum. But you could tell Tatum is going to be, like, better than that 16 points per game. I feel like they're going to average, like, you know, 24, 25. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of potential in Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And this dude right here in the Charlotte, like, bro. If he can average 19 points per game, bro, I'm averaging 22 in my debut in the NBA, bro. Like,
Jason Tatum has asserted himself as the best player in this draft. Of course, making a decision based off of just stats is tough to do, but even with the advantage of watching the kid play, GMs and scouts across the league felt that he was only worthy of a 3rd pick in the draft.
Oh, we got picked 3rd.
If the Sixers picked Tatum instead of Fultz with the #1 overall pick, it is very possible that they would have made a trip to the finals by now. But making the correct pick is not as easy as it seems. A trip to the finals by now. Pick Tatum and the kid play, GMs and scouts across the league felt that he was only worthy of a third pick in the draft. If the Sixers picked Tatum instead of Fultz with the #1 overall pick, it is very possible that they would have made a trip to the finals by now.
Bro, no. Fuck no. No. Embiid and Ben Simmons going to the finals? Hell no.
But making the correct pick is not as easy as it seems. So let's give this another shot. Here are 3 more prospects. This time, all 3 players the same position.
Okay,
Here are their
this is better.
pre-NBA numbers.
Okay, let's do it this time. So they're all the same position, everybody. One's an international, one is a one and done, and one is a 2-year college prospect. Okay, this is interesting. Okay. Now, you can't sleep on the international players, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like international players have more of the fundamentals down pat versus the flashy. You know what I'm saying? And, like, that's just plain and simple. One and done. You know, there's a lot of one and done, college players that, that just do, good. And then you got a 2-year college prospect, bro. Now, you can't sleep on a 2-year college prospect, bro. That's a lot. That's a huge fucking... And he's the same age as a one and done, too. And he's actually younger than him, too. Okay, now this flips the script. Now, looking at all of these, I'm going with the 2-year college prospect, and let me tell you why. It's still fuck school. It's fuck education. You know what I'm saying? I can teach myself type. I'm not vouching for education and none of that stuff. But when it comes to the sports, it's different. If you have experience with playing sports, especially when you're in college, just you going, let alone to the professionals, you already have an advantage. One, your body's most likely going to be in shape because you're already taking the hit and the constant conditioning and everything like that with the college level. I'm not saying that college level versus the pro level is the same, but it's damn near the same. It's getting ready for it. You know what I'm saying? 2 years, you're playing in damn near riskier conditions. College, I don't believe, quote me if I'm wrong, I haven't done my research, but last time I checked, college doesn't make anywhere near what NBA players is making or the average NBA player, or if they even get paid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he's basically playing and putting his life and his body on the line for 2 years, you know what I'm saying? He has more like of a weight on his shoulders, like more hunger, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get it wrong. The one and done can have that same type of hunger. But I feel like experience-wise, bro, you know what I'm saying? I would go with the 2-year college prospect because especially if he was a star in college and, being nice, like that's a huge advantage, you know what I'm saying, going into the NBA, especially with IQ, fundamentals, discipline, like all that type of stuff. Now, the international prospect was averaging more points than all of these guys. I probably would have picked the international prospect because of the fundamental factor. But I'm going to go with the 2-year college prospect, and we're going to see the results from that.
One of them being an international player, one of them being a 2-year college guy, and the other being a one and done. The team with the first overall pick needs a stretch forward that can space the floor and get the ball inside. Now, make your pick.
I'm going with the 2-year college prospect, bro. With no doubt. Let's see who it is.
So, which player did you choose? Well, hopefully, it was prospect number 1. Because this player...
Bro, I'm being fooled! No! Wow! But look, I even said that the international prospect, which actually ended up being a Kunkpo. First of all, a Kunkpo is 13'5". Bro, his height is off, definitely. But the one and done I've never heard of. I've never even heard of him. This other 2-year college prospect, I've never heard of him either. That is crazy. I would have picked the international prospect, like I said, if he averaged more points. Like anybody, like in the right sense of mind, if he's averaging that versus everybody that's averaging damn near 20 points per game, like, you know what I'm saying? And then the rebounds was low too. Kunkpo was averaging 5 rebounds per game, being 13'5" at that time before the NBA. Wow.
There is soon to be a 2-time league MVP. As we've discussed,
Kunkpo was an MVP one time?
It is nearly impossible to predict what kind of player they will become. So if you didn't pick Giannis in this experiment, You're not alone. At the time, there was very little evidence that showed that in just 6 years, he would become the MVP of the NBA. In 2013,
he looked like he'd grown more.
With a top 10
he
pick
got in
the
a weight
draft,
room and shit.
You would be laughed at and fired from your job. And in 2013, if you let Anthony Bennett slip past the 10th pick, you would also be laughed at and fired from your job.
I mean, I could look at that Anthony Bennett dude and tell he's trash, bro. Look at his form and his jab steps and just the way he releases the ball, bro. This is not #1 pick material, bro. This is crazy, man. These NBA scouts, some of these NBA scouts, man, be on some hardcore drugs, man. And I feel it because you got to monitor so many players every year and out.
And in 2013, if you let Anthony Bennett slip past the 10th pick, you would also be laughed at.
Like he's already tired and exhausted by doing drills. Come on, bro. This dude's not even a second round, 5th overall pick.
Let's do one.
Probably
more.
Undrafted at most.
This time around, we have 3 guards, each with their own sets of strengths and weaknesses, and all with very different games. In this situation, your team does not need a guard, but you know that the best player in the draft is going to be a guard regardless.
Okay, so let's do this again. I'm going to get it this time. Now, I told you guys with the college experience, you know what I'm saying, it has a huge beneficial factor, but it only comes to a point once it reaches 2 years. I feel like once you in college playing sports in general, for 2 years, you're set and you should be going to the NBA or going to any professional if you're, you know what I'm saying, not thinking about going to it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like but the person being in college for that long, you're already getting a thought process like you're not going to be good in the NBA. You're not going to be confident. You know what I'm saying? You're just not going to have it. It's just not it for you. Plus, you can also be playing in a division that's not a lot of competition, which makes you want to stay in college because you get that confidence factor. You get that, yo, I'm just, you know, it and this and that, bro. Like, definitely this 4-year college prospect X out of the picture right here. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the one and done who's averaging 19 points per game. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, appears to look like a star. And you got the international prospect, you know what I'm saying, who's 18 years old too, and is averaging 17 points per game. These are very, very hard decisions. And I don't even know, honestly, what I would pick. But I would definitely narrow it down to these two. And, ooh, this is so hard, bro. This is extremely hard to pick, bro. Because a one and done, it could be a certain NBA player that's going to be over this, you know what I'm saying, other one. 19 points per game, the rebounds. I mean, as a guard, you don't need to necessarily get rebounds. The assist is the thing that's throwing me off. And he's averaging more steals. I low-key might go with this international prospect right here, bro. It's just a better stats. It's almost Magic Johnson type of stats.
So, who do you pick?
It's the international prospect for me. What about y'all?
Have you made your choice? Well, in this case, it's far too early to tell who will be the best.
Shit, I guess right. Oh, shit. I guess right. But LaMelo Ball, I thought he was like in the U.S. Maybe just played international and it counts towards that. I guess right. I already know. LaMelo's going to be a star. You know what I'm saying? He just has to get through the final boss of FlightReacts before he gets to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But that's a different story for another day. But yeah, bro, I told you. I stand by my decision. I thought he was 6'8", too, by the way. But look, bro, yeah. LaMelo already said he's going to be a star in the NBA. It's a lot of different potential in him and everything like that. And so I guess right. So at least I got the last one right.
Assess which prospect is the best one because their circumstances and game are all so different. Experiments like this are impossibly difficult. You don't have the advantage of watching a player's strengths and weaknesses unfold in front of your eyes.
Yeah, you do. There's plenty of footage.
Some insight as to what.
But you can clearly tell Melo's a better player than this dude, the other one.
On a yearly basis. And just like the league itself, the NBA draft goes through phases.
It's a weak step back.
Like in the early 2000s, when the NBA went through its high school prospect craze. From the time the NBA was
why did they cancel the high school stuff, though? Like, why can't you go out of high school to the draft anymore?
NBA draft, there were a total of 14 high school players selected in the NBA draft. In the 5 years following the 2000 NBA draft, there were 28 high school players selected in the NBA draft.
Damn.
Peaking in 2004 and 2005 with 17 high school players selected in just 2 seasons. Of course, this was following the success of LeBron James, and the trend that followed was massive. NBA teams were chasing high school players like Robert Swift and Ricky Sanchez in hopes that they would land the next superstar. The draft was getting crazy. Only 5 times in NBA history has a player with no college experience gone first overall in the draft.
Wow.
All 5 of these picks came within a 6-year span. But the odds of a team making the right choice in the NBA draft is slim. Out of tens of thousands of potential prospects, the NBA draft narrows the pool of players down to about 80. 80 guys that have a shot at getting drafted. Out of these 80 players, 60 of them will actually get drafted.
Wow.
Out of the 60 that are drafted, 8 won't even play a single second in the NBA.
Wow.
Of the 52 that do see action in the NBA, only 39 draftees will play at least one season in the NBA.
It's interesting.
We are down to just 39 players, and we have only covered a season's worth of games of NBA playing time. Out of these 39 players, about 12 will average 10 points or more throughout their career. And of these 12 players, about 5 of them will eventually make at least one All-Star team. But here's the kicker. On average, only 1 in 2 draft classes features a league MVP. In fact, in the last 25 years, there have been just as many busts chosen with the number 1 overall pick as league MVPs.
Oh, we got some fresh or clean thing, Ed. Don't fall asleep behind the wheel. Don't do that.
Hey, sorry.
So, you have the honors of selecting the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft.
I'm going with LaMelo Ball.
As optimistic as
Or
you
Cole
want to
Anthony,
be,
one of those.
odds are you won't select the best player in the draft. The player you do select has about a 75% chance of becoming an all-star, and about a 1 in 5 chance of becoming a league MVP. But he also has the same odds of becoming a bust. You are in need of a lengthy point guard to bring a spark to your franchise. But then again, you have a shot at an NBA-ready 7'1" big man who looks to be the best player in the draft regardless of position.
James Wiseman?
Your fan base is begging you to go with the general consensus and
Anthony
choose the
Edwards?
player who is projected to go first overall. But the 2-year college guy that has proven time after time
Obi
that he
Toppin?
can perform with consistency and efficiency is starting to look like the most reasonable pick.
I'm choosing LaMelo.
5 minutes on the clock, and your team is on the board.
Oh, he's going to the Warriors.
Make your pick.
The Warriors got the number 1 overall pick this year? We're getting LaMelo Ball. Or we could get that Wiseman dude. He looks like low-key another motherfucking Anthony Davis, bruh. Nice. Warriors are winning the championship 4 seasons in a row. Nice. Hey, man, as usual, man, comment down below his reps. You next, man, on the road to 3 million.